Rain hammered the cracked pavement outside the city bus terminal, bouncing off the roof of an old shelter where a few commuters huddled under flickering lights. A man in a weathered green jacket, Marcus Hale, 38 years old, tall and lean, with calm brown eyes that had seen combat, stood quietly by the bench, his duffel bag slung over one shoulder. He had that stillness veterans often carry, a mix of alertness and exhaustion. Before we go in fully, please click on the subscribe button because cases like this must be heard. The silence broke when a patrol car screeched to a stop across the curb. 2 white officers jumped out, shouting before Marcus even turned. "Hands where I can see 'em." Marcus raised his hands, confused. "What's this about, officers?" "Suspicious individual matching a robbery suspect," barked Officer Cole Dixon, mid-40s, stocky with a buzz cut and a habit of chewing gum like it was an act of dominance. Behind him, Officer Brent Lowe, younger, mid-20s, followed hesitantly, his expression less certain. "Sir, I just got off the bus," Marcus said evenly. "You've got the wrong. Don't move." Dixon barked again, yanking out his taser. In seconds, Marcus was forced against the shelter wall, his bag spilling open. Clothes, a folded U.S. flag, a photo of a platoon in uniform, and a military dog tag clattered across the wet concrete. Commuters gasped. Someone started recording on their phone. Marcus's voice cracked, not in fear but disbelief. "You're making a mistake. Check my wallet. Check my wallet." But Dixon didn't listen. He cuffed Marcus roughly, knee in his back. "I said quiet." Rain dripped from the officer's hat brim as Lowe hesitated, looking down at the spilled items. The military tag caught his eye. Cole, maybe we should." "I said bag it up," Dixon snapped. He dragged Marcus toward the squad car. And then came the voice. From behind the phone camera, someone yelled, "He's a soldier, man. Look at the flag." Dixon ignored it, but Lowe reached into Marcus's jacket pocket. He pulled out the wallet, flipped it open, then froze, his face drained of color. Inside was a Department of Defense ID. "Sergeant First Class Marcus Hale," it read. Lowe's voice shook. "Cole, he's active duty military." The rain seemed to pause. Dixon blinked, processing. Then, in the corner of his eye, he saw the crowd, all filming, whispering, angry. Marcus lifted his head slowly. "Now, do you still think I'm your suspect?" That single moment, caught on video, exploded across the internet by morning. Hashtag Justice for Marcus trended within hours. Every local station replayed the footage. A veteran arrested, humiliated, and thrown face-first into the ground for nothing but standing while black. Cut to the precinct later that night. Dixon sat in silence while his commanding officer tore through paperwork. "You detained a decorated veteran without probable cause, Dixon?" shouted Captain Reyes, a Latina woman with sharp eyes and a reputation for no-nonsense discipline. "Do you have any idea how bad this looks?" "He matched the description," Dixon started. Reyes slammed a file down. Description was for a 5'8" male wearing a red hoodie. Hale is 6'3" and in a green jacket. "You didn't even read the dispatch." Dixon's jaw clenched. "With respect, Captain, this department's been too soft. You never know what these people—" "Enough," Reyes snapped. "Say another word like that, and I'll write you up myself." Meanwhile, Marcus sat in his small apartment, bruised wrists resting on his knees, his phone lighting up with messages. Old army buddies were calling, journalists emailing, even his old commanding officer had texted. "Saw the video. Proud of how you handled yourself, brother. Let me know if you need backup." But Marcus wasn't proud. He was furious, not just for himself, but for every person who couldn't flash an ID to make the world stop disrespecting them. When a civil rights attorney named Dana Mitchell reached out, he agreed to take the case. Weeks later, the courtroom buzzed with tension. Marcus sat beside Dana, calm but stone-faced in a dark suit. Across from him sat Officer Dixon, in uniform, his lawyer whispering nervously. The judge, Eleanor Brooks, mid-60s, composed and sharp, entered the courtroom. "Court is now in session," the bailiff announced. Dana rose first. Your Honor, the evidence we will show is not just about one man's wrongful arrest. It's about a department culture that allowed racism to masquerade as procedure. The jury murmured. Then, with a click, she pressed play on the courtroom monitor. The viral video filled the screen. Marcus face down, the flag on the ground, Dixon's voice barking orders. Pause, Dana said. Notice the duffel bag, the military flag, the tag. These were visible before he was restrained. Dixon's lawyer objected, but Judge Brooks waved it off. The prosecutor stood next. Officer Dixon, do you recall your first words to Mr. Hale? Dixon swallowed. He looked suspicious. Suspicious how? Standing alone. Watching traffic. So, standing alone in the rain is now probable cause? The courtroom laughed nervously. The judge banged her gavel. Then came the cross-examination bombshell. Dana leaned in, voice low. Officer Dixon, are you aware that your partner, Officer Lowe, filed an internal report the same night, stating you used racial slurs during the arrest? The courtroom froze. Dixon's face twitched. That's not true. Dana smiled faintly. Let's hear it then. She pressed play again, a different video. It was bodycam audio from Officer Lowe's device. Dixon's voice crackled through the speakers. They all play the victim card. Bet he's got a fake ID too. The jury gasped. Marcus's hands tightened, but he stayed silent, his composure unbreakable. Judge Brooks stared at Dixon. Officer, did you just confirm this is your voice? He hesitated. Yes, Your Honor. By the end of the week, Dixon's badge was revoked. The department faced a full internal review. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed Marcus. What do you want people to take away from this, Mr. Hale? He looked straight into the camera. That respect shouldn't depend on what you do for a living, or what color your skin is. It's a right, not a reward. The clip spread like wildfire again. By nightfall, Marcus was invited to speak on national television. He refused. Instead, he visited a local youth center and handed his old flag to a group of teens sitting quietly. Keep it, he said. You shouldn't need a uniform to be treated with dignity. Final scene. Weeks later, Officer Dixon faced sentencing. He stood before Judge Brooks, his uniform stripped of insignia. I made a mistake, he muttered. The judge's tone was calm but cutting. Mistakes happen when you forget your oath. You didn't just arrest a man. You betrayed the trust of the public you swore to protect. As Dixon was led away, Marcus sat quietly in the back row. No victory speech. No applause. Just closure. Because for him, justice wasn't loud. It was earned in silence. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and help us uncover more truth they'd rather keep buried. Because here on True Crime Uncovered, we don't just tell stories. We expose reality.